Well, hello and welcome to today's show. Today is the other half of a video where we were doing our exploration on Linux Mint. I don't know Linux. I don't know Python. I don't know a lot of stuff. I've fallen out of time, out of date. I'm going to try to learn a little bit of Python, and I want to set it up on a different operating system. I got on a different hard drive on the Beast here. I figured I could learn two things about the same time. What's it going to do? It's going to aggravate me any more than I'm already aggravated. But I had trouble with OBS, getting OBS. I thought I had it working great, and then I put some, I used only two add-ons or whatever you want to call them, plugins. One of them, rarely, I only use it for like the little 1 minute, 30-second jobs that we put out the reels and whatever, and I don't do those very often, so I don't use it much at all. The other one I do use because I think it dolls up the presentation a little bit. If I don't then run it through the post-processing through my video editor. Now, all that's well and good, but it worked for a while, and then it died, and it messed up, and before that, when I put the PyCharm on it, somehow I got something wrong and it killed Linux Mint completely off, and it was back to Ubuntu, I guess is how you would say that. I can't remember if it's got an N in there or not, but it went back to the basic Linux and it worked fine, but that version had a lot of stuff kind of stripped out of it, like the simple stuff like snapshot taker, and it's a little bit foreign, but Linux Mint's not too bad. If it'll run much, it won't run my video editing software. It's only a Windows type program. But OBS, we got it going. It crapped out. We tinkered with it. Just a total nightmare. So in this process, I eventually got the right question after going through OBS's stuff and histories and YouTube's. I eventually got a correct question, and I got the move transitions on, but the audio was awful. And then I kind of got where the audio was better, but then the video was 5 frames a second. It's just a nightmare. So let us see if we can get this on here without breaking the machine again. And before we go any further, I'm going to set a restore point just in case, and then we're going to give this a shot. Well, here we are with what has been provided in the Linux Mint build. It's a thing called the time shift, and it will do restore points for us. So before we mess with our OBS and may break it again, quite honestly, I thought it'd probably be a good idea to create a restore point. So if you might be thinking about doing Linux Mint, I haven't seen a lot of, they're just outnumbered. Linux people are just simply outnumbered, even by Apple people. So here, I'm going to give it a shot. We're creating, it's just a utility or whatever that comes in their little build, their little package, their distro, they think they call them. And we're going to make our little point here. Okay, it didn't really take too long. I'm going to give it a point here, and I'm going to say OBS with, what is that called, lower thirds? Because what we're doing, we're going to find out real quick if we can make this work again. All right, see you in just a second. Okay, as I had mentioned, being new to Linux, I've had a little bit of experience with it, but that was a long time ago. So, and I'm not much of a computer guy anymore. So I got this thing going. It worked, but I hadn't really used it for anything. That's what the whole OBS is for. So maybe I can use it and start, just by immersion, learn a little bit of this, because it is a little bit different. Like one of the things that I have here, I've got this pulled open. We are going to look at, let's see, our downloads, I believe is where we're going to go. And we have a couple of things, I think, where we have pulled packages in. Turns out, not really all that helpful with this. I don't know what the issue was. Previous version, when I was getting this going, the audio messed up, the video messed up, and it's just a disaster. We've got to restore points. So here we go. Now, I eventually asked, after going through the OBS forums, I mean, here's the move transition thing. They're pretty nice. It makes your videos look a lot nicer. If you come over here to download, it's going to give you the options of the different platforms. The Windows installer. I guess this is just a zip by itself. This one will probably have an installer to go with it. You notice it's a little bit bigger. The Linux zip and the transition macro zip. I've never used it, never needed that to the best of my knowledge. I just use it only in transitions themselves to make them look a little bit flying from different directions. It looks a little bit better. I'll show you when we get done with it. If we can get it to work without messing up either our camera or our audio, because we're a little short on drivers with Linux. So anyway, here we had this. So the answer to my prayers came about when I finally got the right question asked and Google presented it. Because I had to ask in context with Flatpak. Now, if you don't know what Flatpak is, let's go back over here and let's ask what Flatpak is. Alrighty, it says that Flatpak is a universal package manager and application distribution system for Linux. It allows developers to distribute applications across different Linux distributions. That's the different distros, like whether it has a desktop or not. Ubuntu or Ubuntu, I'm learning how to even pronounce that. That's not the only version of Linux there is out there. Of course, there's Red Hat and other stuff that goes along with it. So it's a sense that they're trying to make this be more, it's not like a Windows store or Apple store. It's really just trying to make it work with your application. So one of the things that we can do with it is this Universal Package Manager. It's a sandbox environment. Don't know what that is. Dependency management. We have some of that. Cross distribution support. And it talks about developers can create a single Flatpak package that can be distributed to multiple Linux distributions. That's the big thing. It makes it a little bit better for the software people. So we have our instructions, because in my software manager, let's see if we can pull that up, give you a little look. See, looks kind of like a Windows thing, doesn't it? This Linux Mint. If I can operate it, if I can drive and still talk at the same time, we have something down toward the bottom is the welcome screen. And if we click that, we have a couple of little utilities and things. This is where we have our snapshot. We can change our little desktop. It's kind of Windows, but different. So if you come up to the update manager, that helps a little bit. If we hit the software manager, it brings this up. Maybe you're a gamer, is advertising Steam up here. Dropbox is real common. A lot of people use it. You know, it's just Audacity. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I use that for audio programs sometimes. Never use torrents. I don't go places that need a torrent. But we've got that kind of going, and you can find a different type of distribution. Like if we were to type in OBS, see, it pulls up. Now this is the one that says it was for this little site. Well, this is not the same version as this over here, and this says it's from the FlatHub. So I started looking at this Flatpak, to see if that would work. Here's what I did. Down here on this one, we did what it said, install Flatpak. Well, I didn't know if I had Flatpak or not. I saw on one of the posts in one of the forums somewhere, you know, it said, well, if you have Linux Mint past a certain edition, 21 or 22, something like that, and I think this is there, you don't need Flatpak to download it. I said, well, I certainly don't want to do that. So if we pull up our terminal, bring it up here. I do know enough to do this to find out if we have it, because you can just type in, and it's just the program name Flatpak and / version. If I don't have it, it's going to tell me I don't know what to do with it. It's going to give me some kind of an error. It's going to give me some sort of exception. But if I have it, it's going to tell me the version that I do have. Let me go ahead and get this zoomed in here and get me off there. And it says I have Flatpak 1.14.6. So I do have Flatpak. I did have Flatpak. So then all I needed to do is read the instructions like a normal human being. I just didn't have these instructions posted anywhere, and they were giving alternate methods for alternate ways and package installers that weren't working on Linux Mint. So it says, put the Flatpak in. Well, we got the Flatpak. Add a Flatpak repository. I skipped this the first time because I went down to, okay, add that. I figured, well, I've got Flatpak. I probably got this. Got OBS Studio. I already had OBS Studio installed. Install the Move Transition plugin. All right. Well, that didn't want to run because I didn't get it to install correctly. So all you had to do was take this, and we're just going to bring this in. That's all I did. I'm not going to do it again because I've already got it running. But we brought this, we copied this, and with our terminal down here, bring our terminal back up, slide up here. We just simply took it and did a paste, and there we had our command. And it may have asked me for my password. If you're not a super user, it's going to make you do that. But once I had done that, you see, it was just simple as following the next flipping command. It wasn't hard. I got it working. And that's what we're going to do today because we've already done this. At least it should still be there if I haven't wiped it off the map. We'll find out quick enough because we're going to use this instruction to put this plug-in in. And this is so much easier to do it this way than all the outdated research from a couple years ago and that kind of stuff, and it's not there, and this is not the right version. So let's see if this will work. It's going to make me ask password. Branch op download. All right, proceed with these changes to the system installation. OBS project plug-in, move transition. Well, that's what I'm asking it to do. Apparently, that's the stable version. Let's throw caution to the wind, brothers and sisters. Let's live recklessly with our newly rebuilt Linux Mint. Installation complete, it says. Was that not fast enough? And I've gone through updates and upgrades and all that kind of stuff, and I think that some of that may have made things worse. So I don't think we need this. And it says Flatpak run op the studio. Flatpak run com. We already have it installed, so we shouldn't need that. We come down to this, and I'm going to give you this location or these commands. I'll probably cut and paste this from the AI. I think I can do that since it's produced out here. We'll put this in your description on the YouTube page so you can see how to do this, so you don't have to fight with this much trouble, because if they change how the search comes up, it may not give you the same response. And this will only be accurate on a use it at your own risk location. All right, so I'm going to shut down OBS, save this half of the program, and bring the other one up if it installed. How about that? See you in a minute. If you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you. Thank you. This was the one that when I first pulled it up, see, it shows system package. All right, for this, it also says Flatpak in the bottom, but it says this is system package. But if we go down here and look at this, if we're clear enough, it says this is the 30.0.2. And then whatever that crap is right there, -3 build 1, all right, to download. So this is not it doesn't have a terrible rating, but it gave me trouble. This is part of the one that was giving me the encoding problem. Encoding using H.264 and AAC, that works okay. But when I went to the other one, switching back and forth, this one kind of says it's the Flatpak or the FlatHub version. And you can see it's because it's red, it's what I have installed. It's 31.0.3. It works a little bit better. It says features, and you can read all about it. It's a little bit better. High performance real-time studio. This is something they type up. Reviews. You can see the reviews. You can see the optional components. Background removal. All right. Draw. Move transition. See, look, it's right there. It was right there the whole time. We could have used it had we been smart enough to click that over. So you can pull from here. This is the Flatpak Flat Hub, and this is a learning experience for me getting this thing going. Composite blur, I don't use that. Background removal, I've not needed that. I might play with that again. But these are just stuff that OBS works. I get something working, I don't mess with it that much. Now let's see if we actually install the good old-fashioned hard way. We'll pull our upper scene and we'll look right here. It did, in fact, think it has it installed because it says it has move as one of the transitions. This is what I pull it for. You can set the timing. I think less than a half a second is a little slow on my other videos. When I do my slides, they're all a half second or 15 frames at 30 frames per second. So I like a half that appears not too laggy and not too super fast. So if we pull, I'm going to have to go down to the lower screen. We're going to pull, look at how this thing is set up. All right, let's go down to the lower, and I'll pop out the properties and bring them down where we can see them. As you can see, it's showing an A, and I have this box. This pulled it from the last time I had it running. It had a check mark, contains the other source name. So if we're changing from a match, this is the match, from one scene to the next, if the scene has the same source name, it's going to consider it a matched item versus a entering item or a leaving item. You can also make it see things as more continuing if you do the numbers removed from the ends of the other source names, okay? Then we have this, we go on down to matched items and appearing items. They can appear differently from the disappearing items. So if you want to think about that, think about it in the standpoint, if you haven't used this, is we've got some common items, like perhaps camera number 1 is in all of our scenes. That would be a matched item. If we have camera number 1, it will come in and it will look like the same thing. That's treated a little differently than if we have camera 1 for nesting, where it's already shrunk down. That would be a different item unless you had the commonality that it's looking for. Also, with some of these, we have the ability to make stuff fly in because we can do it on individual scene basis or the whole production basis. I like to use the whole production basis because it just makes it a little bit more interesting to do it this way rather than having a slide or a fade or whatever. But you can even do that. See, we have under the general match what we consider matching. Now on the matched item, we're going to ease in and out. You can have no easing, and you could have easing in, easing out, and that's kind of a hard thing to explain, or both. Basically, it means just appear or do whatever we're talking about doing, the easing function, in and out or out, and you can make it ignore it, but it's going to treat all the matched items that way. And if we come down here, what do we have? We have a easing function is exponential. We're not using a particular transition. We can change what transition we use. I'm not specifying one. I'm just moving how they move. Appearing items, I'm easing in and out. It's coming in a circular. I have a little bit of a zoom on it, and a little bit of a curve. So you should see a little bit of a motion. I can't remember if it's negative, if it's anti-clockwise, and positive is clockwise. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. And disappearing items, we can treat them different. They're going to go center right. The other one, I think I had said center left. Yes, see, there we go. So you can set this, and this is going to work on everything that you have. Now let's go back to our upper monitor. Do you see how the video does the little switches back and forth? Because they're entering and exiting. Now, if I take something with a common thing, you see we got a little bit different behavior because it was entering, now that's exiting, going back. It just gives you a little bit of some flexibility on how you present your show. Now, I'm not going to go into the other part. This part is well documented enough on other videos that it's probably not new, but you get an idea. If this is something that interests you, go find some other videos, watch about a half a dozen, and find some that kind of make sense to you. Again, we can change the timing. Let's go back up there and slow this down. Let's make this a little bit slower. Let's make this 1,000. This will make it a full second in its transition. Let's see what our little screens look like now when we tell them to go. See, it's the same thing. With that one, you saw a little bit more of the undergoing, right? So it depends on how much you want to exaggerate your transition. That's good enough for me. I like that particular function. And we go back up to the top. We still have our little bits here from the previous video. I hope the video was clean enough. It was a little bit fuzzy. I'm tweaking on this. So let's go back down to our main camera and try our Alt F1 to see. Whoops, that didn't do what I wanted it to do at all. All right, how about our Alt 1 to see if we've turned on our little smooth moving guy, because I have them set for a 3-minute interval. So we may not be able to see it unless I go back up and show you it is in fact turned on, but it's in the off period at this point. We're practicing. It's turned on, but we're timed out. We're not displaying it. So anyway, it's a little bit scatterbrainy, these last two, because there's a lot of frustration and not a lot of sleep involved, and it's giving me that bad spot back in the neck and on the side, because I really wasn't intending to do a lot of look-seeing up on the upper monitor, just concentrate down below. So hopefully this is at least worth the effort. You see the settings and you see what I'm using. You see how to get it in there. I probably, out of my own ignorance and unfamiliarity with Mint, probably caused much of this heartache myself. We'll find out with time. Appreciate you watching.